So now we have that video.
So, what did we do last time?
Simple one.
We did.
No. Can I ask for his number again?
We did this, correct? The law of signs, right? We did this. And we did the AAS, ASA. We did those two, correct? Okay, and then we kind of left off, we said, well, SSS works, and SAS works. And then there was a question of whether AAA works, and then everybody understands why AAA does not work, correct? I could have 30, 60, 90, and 30, 60, 90, correct?
Yeah.
Same angles, different triangle, correct? So AAA would be what? What do we call these two? Similar triangles, right? Similar triangles, okay? So, law of signs. Today we're going to talk about the SSA situation, okay? SSA situation, okay? So let's do example number 2. Example number 2. I have a situation where I have 6, 7, and I am given this angle as 26.3. That's really nice. 26.3. A and B and C. So what do I know here?
Two sides.
I'm given two sides, right? Here's one side, because they are opposite of each other, right? B is equal to 6. What else do I know?
Angle.
Angle A, correct? So what do I have to figure out?
Oh, that's the AAS one, or ASS one.
The SSA one.
No.
What do I know? What do I need to know? I need to find out what this is. I need to find out what this is and this is, correct?
Yeah.
So I need this and this. Okay, so I need 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so how am I going to figure out what first?
B. Big B.
I want to find big B first, right? Why do I want to fit? Why do I want to finish? Figure this guy out first.
Then you get big C. Yes, sir.
Because I have sine A over A is equal to sine B over B. I know these three, so I can get this guy, correct?
Yeah.
Once I know this, what's the next thing?
Angle C.
Big C, right? So they all have to add to 180, right? And then I can figure out what the little c is, correct? Everybody understand the sequence of events that's going to happen here? Okay, so let's go with B first. So I have sine A over small a is sine B over B. So I have sine 26.3 over 7 is equal to sine
That's 9 numbers.
B over 6.
5, 7, 8.
Okay? Good? And if we do this, we're going to find out that sine B would be equal to, correct? So all I'm doing is multiply 6 on both sides, correct? Multiplying 6 on both sides, right? I get that, that's how I'm going to get that. So if I do this, the book says that I will get, doesn't say what it is, but they did the arc sine. If I do the arc sine, I get B is equal to 22.3. 22.3. Okay. All right. So in other words, this here is going to be 22.3. Which means that C is going to be equal to what? 180 minus 26.3 minus 22.3. I add these two together, I get 48.6. 48.6 So C must be that. Okay? Alright, so I have this. So now I'm going to find out C. How am I going to find C?
Side of C over side of B, leave it as.
They have to equal 180.
I can just do this one right here, right? And instead of B, just put in C, correct?
Yeah.
C would be 131.4. And this one was what? Sine 26.3 over 7. Right? I'm trying to find out what C is. So if I cross multiply over here, I get C times the sine 26.3 is equal to 7 times sine 131.4. Therefore, C is going to be equal to 7 sine 131.4 sine 26.3. We good? We good? Any questions there? If I do that, I get 11.85. 11.85. So this guy here is 11.85. These 6 numbers here constitute me solving the triangle. So when you are asked to solve a triangle, I'm looking for 6 separate things. Okay? And most of the time you'll be given 3. You have to figure out the other 3. Does that make sense? Okay? Alright. So that was pretty not too complicated. Okay. The one that gets complicated is the next one that we're going to do, which is example number 3. Example number 3 is when, okay, you notice that I had 6 over here and 7 over here? Right? So on the other one, they're going to give us the other way around, and we're going to give us 30 degrees. So they're going to say that this guy was 30, and this guy is 7, 6. This is what we're looking at. Okay?
Drawn to scale.
Of course it's not drawn to scale. It's never drawn to scale. So what do I have here? What do I know?
SSA.
A is 6, angle
A is 6, this is 7, this is 30 degrees, correct? So I have to figure out the next 3, right?
Easy, and then just do it for C. Same thing again.
Same thing again, right? So I'm going to do it. Sine 30 over 6, sine B over 7, correct? We're doing exactly the same thing we did before. Okay, so I get sine B is equal to 7 over 6 sine 30. Sine 30 was what?
Oh, you know.
The number.
Yeah.
1/2, right?
That was my guess.
Sine 30 was 1/2.
Yeah.
So-
7.
That's not
Sine B, so what I'm looking for, sine B is that, right? So B, the angle B, if I do, is going to be what? Arc sine of 7 over 12. Arc sine of 7 over 12 is 35.7. 35.7, so this guy is 35.7. C is going to be 30 minus 35.7, 65.7, right? And I'll do the same thing for C, so 114.3 over C, right? So I'm going to get C times sine 30 is equal to 6 times sine 114.3 sine 30 If I solve that, I get 10.94. 9.94. 10.94. So, well, Mr. Strong, this seems to be exactly the same thing we did before.
Yes.
So what's so hard about this one?
Uh-oh. There we go.
What?
Nothing.
So I am given these three things, correct?
Yeah.
Can you envision a triangle where I took this 6 and flipped it inside over here?
Okay. What?
This still works too, correct?
Yeah.
Because I have 7,
Uh-huh.
I have 6,
Mhm.
and I have this angle.
But you solved it and it doesn't.
Huh?
But you solved it and it doesn't work. So,
No, I solved it this way. That's what I solved over here, right?
yeah.
But there is a triangle that looks like this. In other words, there are actually 2 triangles here. Because SSA, if you remember correctly, is not a condition of a triangle. What is a condition of a triangle? SAS, right? If it's SAS, you have only one triangle. But when you have SSA, it is not a triangle. This is exactly why. Because you have 2 separate triangles. You see that? Okay. So now you have to be able to solve this guy. So what will be the difference here? What will be the difference? B is no longer going to be 35.7, correct? B is going to be a obtuse angle, not an acute angle, okay? So you have to be able to solve for that.
You just flip B and C.
So sine A over A, sine B over B, right? Oh, B was 7, correct? Right, so I'm going to redo this now. Okay, so what do I have? I have the same thing, correct?
Yeah.
So when I got this guy, right, this was a 35.7 was the initial guy that I got, right? If you look at 35.7 here, 35.7, I'm going to have the same value over here, correct? So you have to be able to solve this angle, right? What is that angle?
4.114.
This is 35.7, which means that this guy here is 35.7,
Yeah.
which means that this is no longer this. Looks like that.
That's what I was thinking.
So this is the difference right here. And you're going to solve this for 144.3, which means that this guy's going to be what?
Wouldn't it be 71.4 minus 180?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Because there's 2 angles, and you're saying you're solving the distance in between the 2 angles.
I'm solving the angle from here to
Oh,
here.
okay.
That's the angle that I'm solving.
Got you.
So I'm going to get that. What do I get here? 174.3, 5.7. It's a really small angle. And that angle is where? Tucked up right on here, right? That little small angle there. Okay? All right. You good? Okay. So that's what it looks like. And I'm not going to go and solve C again, but you can solve C. You can see that C is going to be a really small length here, correct? You understand the difference there?
Yes.
Okay, so this would be the, what we call the ambiguous case. Why is it ambiguous?
Because you don't know.
Because I have 2 separate triangles, right? Okay. So, if this length is larger than this length, you'll have an ambiguous case. The first one we did, we had 6 over here and 7 over there. it does not fold back into each other, right? You cannot fold it back in, so there's only one triangle, right? But this one, you can fold it back in, so there's actually two separate triangles that you have to solve for, which makes for a good question on the test. Because I give you one question, but you're actually solving two separate triangles, right? Which means that it's probably going to be on the test. And usually about 40%, 50% of you get it right. Okay? So, remember this one, right? Okay.
You always rewatch this video.
And then we have one more.
So it's gonna be like.
So let's see if we can do this.
Do we?
You know, I'm not going to do that. Locating a fire, I think you guys can do on your own. So I'm not going to do it. I am done with 5.5. 5.5 homework will be due tomorrow. Yes.
Can I get your phone number one more time?